So my name is Hakeem, and for those of you who are just joining me for the first time here, this is the third series, and I'm going to tell you a bit about myself and my story. So I've been teaching data analytics now for a year, and my career in data analytics has spanned about 3 years now. And before all this journey started for me, I was working in the NNPC in Nigeria as a production facility engineer. And before then, I worked with the Minister of Finance, the two ministers of finance between 2018 and 2020. And I worked as an IT administrator for a local company in Nigeria. So my experience has cut across financial services, energy, oil and gas, and I have certifications in Microsoft Analytics, Professional, and also in Safe Scrum Master. But before that, this is my story, and just to inspire you that you too can also make a decision today to change your story. So this was me in 2021 in Port Harcourt, in Oredo, Omen 11 Flow Station, in NMPC, having a good time. And September 2023, I joined my wife and two kids here in the UK on a student-dependent visa. So I resigned from my job in the oil and gas. I came to start afresh, not knowing what the future holds for me. The first job I got was a fish factory worker. I did that for 2 weeks, and then I moved into construction as a laborer. You can see me here dressed up, kitted, and my feet dirty and muddled because I was always working outdoors. My office was outdoor, either in the sun, in the rain, in the wind, in the snow. I was working outdoor, and this job was for 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday. This was me in January 2024, and the job was really hard. It affected my health. I even had pneumonia and bronchitis because of working in this hard condition and harsh weather condition. This is just a video on this day. The temperature was -6 degrees, and it was very gusty and windy, and we were still working. I was installing solar panels in this solar farm. This was January of 2024. You can imagine this is me coming off down from NNPC where I was never exposed to all these and having to survive, having to pay the bills and doing all of this job, right? You can see this was me on this day, very snowy and windy. And this was what I was doing. So I'm trying to connect with you in case you are somewhere in your life right now doing what you don't like to do. I've been there before. And how did I overcome the struggles? So whenever I came back home from that long hour shift, I still get on my laptop. I practice Excel, Power BI, SQL, and I still apply for jobs at the same time. You can see me here, my wife and my kids around me, and I'm still investing in myself. This was February of 2024, and the hard work paid off. In April 24, I landed a role as a senior data analyst with the UK DRS. And the perks of this job was working 3 days from home and 2 days in a warm and very cozy office. And I've been on that job up to now. And that job also came with a visa sponsorship. So your story can change. It depends on the decision you make now. And I have an upcoming 8 weeks data analytics training for the October cohort. I've been running this for over a year. And the link I will put in the chat box in the course of this session. So why do you want to learn data analytics? Because data is exploding and the world is short of analysts. And this is the recent interview I got from one of my students in the last cohort for NHS data analyst role, which I prepared her for this interview. In addition to other job offers that I have, I'm beginning to compile all that. And I think in the next webinar, I'll put all those job offers together and share them with you as well. So that's me. So that's my journey. This is where I started from. And in today's class, I will show you what SQL is all about. I'll introduce you to the software, to the structure, and we're going to answer some questions. This session today will build on what we have learned in the first two free webinars in Excel and in Excel. For those of you who missed, I will refer you back to the recordings of those sessions to just get a grasp of all that. But for those of you who have never seen Excel before, this is the interface of Microsoft Excel. It's a spreadsheet package where you store data in columns and rows. Now, what is SQL? And you've never heard of it before. So what does it mean? It stands for structured query language, and all of the data that company work with is stored in tables. You store them in a table, and a table is stored in a database. So today, as very introductory class, I'm going to show you 3 SQL clauses. When we say clauses, it means like statement, it means like language. 3 basic SQL languages that are very powerful, and we'll use these 3, just these basic 3, that you can learn today and even use it to analyze data and answer business questions. So I'm going to zoom in now and just read this out for you. So in this practical session, you and I and everyone on the call, you put yourself in a shoe that you're an analyst working for Fairgo Limited. That's what I teach my students. You are an analyst with me now in this class. You are working for Fairgo Limited, and Fairgo Limited is a retail industry, so they sell things, right? And we're going to use these 3 clauses, Excel, from, and where, to answer business questions. So you will never forget this if I teach you this. When you hit select in SQL, is used to view the columns in a table. Now you are asking, okay, what is even a table? Now let me show you what a table looks like in the database. Now look over here. Let me turn on, just a moment, let me turn on my highlights so that you see the cursor. So this software is called SQL Server Management Studio. It's what my company uses, it's what I use in my 9-to-5 job. You see here databases. This is where databases are stored. And in my context, this is a database. This is where all the data is stored in. And if you look in here, we have tables. Sorry if it's a bit narrow, but you get the gist of it. So this is the tables folder, and this is where all the tables are stored in. So every part of the business has a table for itself. That is, if you want to look for employees data in the company, you go to the employees table. If you want to look for products table, you go to the products table. If you want to look for data about suppliers, you go to the suppliers table. So that's how databases are built and structured. For my students who have signed up already for the October bootcamp, this will go into detailed teaching for you. And for also those of you who want to sign up now for the link, I'll put the link. The link is in the chat box. I'll put that in about 5 minutes time so that you can see how during that training, I'll teach you how to go deeper into understanding how databases are structured. So select, like I said earlier, I wanted to show you what the, let me go to the employees. That's something you and I can relate with. So this is the employees table. And this is how, when I mean a table, this is how it is stored in the database. So for Virgo Limited, we have 9 employees, and this is how they are stored. So when you hear the word select in SQL, it means you want to look at a column in the table. So you understand? You want to look at a column in the table. Now, when you hear the word from, it's not like you're speaking English. From, it directs to the table of your interest. And the clause where is used to filter, or let me use the English word, to sieve rows of interest. So all these 3, let's look at the question that makes sense. Let's look at the question where we can use all of these 3. Look at question number 1. Look at question number 1 for data analytics. So you have this, I told you you're an analyst with Virgo Limited. So management is in the process of optimizing our inventory, and they are interested to see the list of products we are no longer selling. Please identify that and send over to me before close of business today. This is how these questions will come as an analyst, all right? Management is in the process of optimizing our inventory, and they want to see the list of products we are no longer selling. So as an analyst, you go into the database and look for a table that is called products and fetch out the data. So in our database, look over here, we have a table called products. Here, look at it here, products. So I'm going to say select, which I told you looks at all of the columns in a table. But now look at this word called star. Star in SQL means everything. Even in Excel, it means everything. So I'm saying that select all the columns from the table called products. Two clauses. And when you execute this query, I'll teach all of you, my students, in the bootcamp, right? Or how to navigate all this and even the shortcuts to use. So this is all of the products in the database for our company, Vego Limited. If you look over here to bottom right, 77 rows, there are 77 products. And the question is saying that please identify those products that we are no longer selling. Now, there is a column in this table called discontinued, and it has either a 0 or a 1. So look at the first row. Discontinued 0 means that this product is still in service. We are still selling it. But if it is a 1, it means that that product is discontinued. So 1 for yes, 0 for no. So this is where I will show you how you can take this to Excel. Let's take this data to Excel. I click on copy with headers. This is our Excel. We paste this in Excel. This is now the data. Let me expand all the column width, alternate HOI, and this column J here, we can filter it. Click on sort, click on filter, and we can filter only the one that is in 1 and click on OK. And these are all of the products that we are no longer selling. 7 products. You can use the third clause I want to show you today, the where, to filter this record in SQL if you don't want to do it in Excel. So the column is discontinued. So we say where discontinued is equal to 1. And we do that. And this is exactly what we have in Excel. Now, if you don't want to use the asterisk to see all of the columns, you only want to see maybe 2 columns. So you delete the asterisk and type in the column name, product name. Let's say I only want to see the product name, and I execute, and then we see the names. So I've shown you now 3 clauses. Select is used to view the columns of your choice in a table. From points to the table you want to fetch. Where is used to filter the rows. Now, question number 2, let's dive in. This is the question from your manager. Remember, you're a data analyst with Vego Limited. Because your manager sent you this question, can I have the list of products name and its descriptions from the warehouse with the stock level below 20? Send those lists to the supply department. So this question relates to the product table again. So I'm just going to write this again for you for your sake for learning. So select, I want to see everything, that's the asterisk, from products. And let me execute that. This is everything, all the products. Now this question is saying stock level below 20. Now, if you look in here, there will be a column that will help us answer this question. And this is it here, unit in stock. Your manager wants to see the products that the stock level is below 20. So let's use the where clause again and say where units in stock below. Don't do this in SQL. SQL does not understand below. It only understands this basic simple math, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, and all that. So the question is below 20. And if I use the asterisk, I'm going to see everything here, but the manager only wants to see the product name and its descriptions. So that will be product name, product name. I'm going to use a comma to separate one column from another. The other, what describes this product name will also be the quantity per unit. and the unit price, and also the unit in stock. So I'm using 4 columns now. These 4, my product is red. I didn't put a T, right? So these 4 columns, when you run this now, you are going to see this is the list of products that their list is below 20. Now, my students, you've learned Excel with me 2 weeks. I'll copy this data and take it to Excel and paste. And I'm going to alternate HOI. I teach my students shortcut. So these are all of the products with the units in stock less than 20. And your manager says, send this over to the supply manager. Now, I see some of my students on this third edition. I'm happy to tell you that on 2 weeks before the October training, we're going to have an onboarding session. And in that session, you're going to be issued your official email address for the training. So, for example, if your name is Amina Dauda, your official email address will be adauda@intelligencewithdata.com. So you're going to have that and also your password. And we're going to give you access to send emails and receive email. While we are doing that is we are training you to simulate work experience because you are now working for the company as a student. So email communication will be sent over to you. These type of questions will be sent over to you during training. This database as well will be installed on your personal laptop. So I will be giving you how I receive emails in my day-to-day job and training you on email etiquette, how to respond, how to put in a presentation in PowerPoint and all that. This will help you stand out when you are invited for interview because you have been doing this, it becomes second nature to you. And when you are asked to also give example of when you use Excel and Power and Excel and SQL, because you've done it during training and internship, it becomes easy for you to convince your employer and get those jobs. So that's one of the new good news I have for you, my students. And if you also want to join the session, please just give me a minute while I put that in the chat box. And Inkichi Uma, yes, you're going to have the link for the other classes as well. You just give me a minute while I um, copy the link for the registration so that you can have it as well. Yeah, so that's it there. So we've spent about 10 minutes on this call. You've seen how easy it is to learn SQL, how easy it is to learn these fundamentals to answer questions. Now, third question, using these same 3 things, clauses, we want to give vouchers to our customers, but only to those in a country with the most customers. It makes sense. Could you provide the number of customers split by country, sorted largest to smallest? So this question regards about customers. So your mind will go to customers table in your database, and they want to see the number of customers split by country. So all customers that have the largest, our custom countries that have the largest customers. So let's use these same 2 clauses. Select asterisk because I want to see all of the columns in that table from customers. Yeah, there is a column here, customers. So let's view that. This is everything. How many customers do we have? We have 91 customers because there are 91 rows in this database. And look at this column here, country. We want to see the countries with the highest customers. So this is fine. I know how to do this in Excel. I will teach my students how to use SQL to do this. But let's go to Excel and answer this question. So I'm going to copy this entire data. I'll go to Excel. I'll click on a new sheet and I'll paste it. Let me just align all the columns, alternate H, O, and I, right? Is everything. And I'm going to use pivot tables. So before I show you pivot table, look at the country. You see here, we have Mexico appearing twice here, and I'm sure we have Mexico appearing more than twice. This is another Mexico. Now they want to see a list of the countries and how many times that country appeared, then we can know which one is higher and which one is lower. So we're going to use pivot tables. First of all, I'm going to put my entire data in a table. So insert tab, I'm going to put it in a table. Sorry, no. Insert table. You can see all the dancing ants are around my data. I click on OK. Then now I click on the Insert tab again and I click on Pivot Table. Now I want to put it in an existing worksheet here so that you will just see the answer beside the data set. Now, the question is countries with the largest number of customers. So I drag my countries to rows, and this gives me a unique list of countries. I want to count how many times they appear in the customer table. So I'll drag the country again to values. And in my customer table, we see here USA have the highest number of customers. We have 13 customers from USA. Let me sort that from largest to smallest. So I'll right click in this box and sort largest to smallest. And this is my answer. So which country do we have the most customers from? It is USA. And if you're interested to put this as a chart, I will highlight it. I click on Insert and I click on Recommended Charts. Let me click on the bar chart and I click on OK. And this is we can call this chart the distribution for countries with highest customers. Let me just sort it largest to smallest. Right click, sort, smallest to largest, and this answered the question. Now, very easy to learn, isn't it? Right? You now know how, as an analyst, you need to just know the basic in SQL, combine that with your knowledge in Excel, and you can do well as an analyst. Fourth question. If you've been getting value from what I've been showing you for free, can you put a 1 in the chat box? Let me see how engaged you are with the class so far. If you've been having value for the past, I think 15, 20 minutes or so now. I like your feedback. Thank you. Thank you. That's Tawakal too. Thank you, Adiola. Thank you. Yeah, that's interesting to see your feedback. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, so. Thank you and for you who will put 1. I thank you, Amaka. Yeah, 1, but not easy to complain. Of course, this is a 30 minutes. I'm just trying to show you the introductory. I will not go at this space in class. It's going to be broken down. There's going to be modules. There's going to be structured learning, right? I'm just teaching you an introductory. Just get the graphs, right? Look at this question number 4. We have received high volume of complaints regarding delayed shipping of items. Let me just so that you can view everything at once. Right. So we have received high volume of complaints regarding delayed shipping of items after a customer has placed an order with us. Could you identify those orders that were shipped? That were shipped 20 or more days post-purchase. Please forward to the supply manager and copy the MD. So, right, as an analyst here, so this question is telling you that a customer bought an order on a certain date and the order was shipped on another date. Items that were shipped 20 days or more after the customer placed an order, those orders is what we want you to extract for us. Just give an example. You went to, let's say, Marks and Spencer online. You bought a slippers and you bought it on the 1st of January and they did not ship it on the 31st of January. And that resulted in a lot of complaints regarding this. So of course, the company wants to identify those lists of records. Where do you go to? These questions are about orders, and there is a table in the database for orders. So this is how companies structure their data for analysis. So what columns are you going to use again? Select star from orders. Now you know select star means we want to see everything. From gives you the table you are looking at. Catherine, let me answer Catherine's question. Catherine is asking, can we get the questions for practice? Yeah, you do not have the database to extract this data from on your system. And Catherine is one of my students registered already for the bootcamp. So Catherine, this is part of the onboarding we're going to have with you and the rest of the class. This database will be installed on your laptop. This software studio will be installed on your laptop, and also, and then you can on your own practice those questions. So don't worry, Catherine, these questions will be answered. Right. And I'll answer this question and also answer the next question I see in the chat box. So, right, this is the result of all of the data that pertains to orders that has been placed with this company. Look at this column. This is the order date. Look at this column, shipped date. Now let's find the difference between number of the days between ship date and order date, and let's see those that are more than 20. We can do this in SQL, but let's just take this data to Excel and analyze it. But this data is a lot of columns. I don't need all of these columns. Let me just pick the columns that I want. So I get away with star. Let's see, I need the order ID. Then I can identify the order. Then I need the order date. Put a comma. I need the shipped date. And I think ship country will be fine. So we can see those country that goes to. Yeah, these four. And let me run it again. So the same structure, I've only picked column of interest. We'll copy this data, take it to Excel, and I'll paste it in here. And let me alternate HOI. Right, now this is where you need to add to your knowledge in Excel how to clean data. You see the columns are appearing 0000. Let's just change it to a date. You'll see that in the number group. From general, let's change it to a short date. That has appeared. Let's do the same thing again for the shipped date. Let's do it there. And in this column E, let me name it as days to ship. And I just want to subtract equals to. So an order was placed on order date. Was it ship date? Ship date minus order date, and press enter. So for this record, for this order that was placed on the 4th of July, it was shipped on the 16th of July. 12 days is still fine. But our question is saying that those order that is more than 20 days. So I've done that for all of the columns. And how did I do that? So I double click on the, yeah, this will be good. I double click on the field handle, and that automatically populated. Then now I want to filter. I could just filter, use the filter box and filter. And I'll click here, and I only want to select those number filter that is greater than or equal to 20. I click on OK, and this Excel I've filtered all of the orders. Let me just see how many orders in total. There are 72 orders in total. So 72 orders took longer than 20 days to ship. Now, the question I got here is, okay, I'm interested for the bootcamp training. Please, how much does it cost? All right, I'm going to click on the link and run you through all of the information about the bootcamp training and what you also have to gain, and also to run you through how to fill the form. So the training is going to start on the Saturday, 25th October. It's going to be an 8 weeks intensive training, advanced Excel, SQL, more detailed, and also Power BI. These three tool stack, knowing how to use this will land you a job as a data analyst, Power BI analyst, financial analyst. In addition to that, your CV will be reviewed and optimized. As I told my students who have signed up already, you're already now working with intelligence with data. You can put that on your CV. You can also use your email address to even engage or send correspondence with anybody. You have one-on-one mentorship with an experienced data analyst. So that will cover how to answer these kind of questions that I have simulated for you. that will be covered during your training. You build a strong portfolio project. You touch on cases on finance, retail, healthcare data, and how to answer them. Step-by-step support through the job application process, how to apply and tailor your applications to jobs. For example, you are interested in jobs that comes with visa sponsorship. How do you structure your application to target those jobs? That will be supported on that. Of course, UK work experience and reference, because you're already working with intelligence with data, will support you on that. What do you need to prepare for the 8 weeks training? A functional laptop, 2 hours twice a week classes, and you need to pay a deposit of £200 to secure your place for the October 25 cohort. It's 5 to 7 p.m. Saturdays and Sunday, and the total training fee is £400, but pay 50% to secure your slots and spread the balance over the next 4 weeks. All sessions are recorded, just like this free class is also recorded, so you can always catch up if you miss a class. And this is the bank details to pay. So when you click on this link, you follow through. Your email, you need to put that, your first name, your last name. And I want to know your technical skill, very important, right? So you put either beginner or intermediate, so I can tailor my learnings and also schedule additional classes for you when the need arises. So you just click on next and submit, and your payment will be acknowledged, your seat will be reserved, and you will be part of the training. And thank you to all those who have already enrolled in the October bootcamp as well. Thank you so much. Now let us go into the fifth question in SQL. We're almost there. We're almost there. And these questions are simulated to real life questions. So I'm not just asking you, I'm not just showing you, for example, orders with the largest number or products we are no longer selling. I am framing the questions to simulate what you will be experiencing when you get the job as a data analyst. Now take the last question for today. What is the average number of days taken to ship those orders 20 or more days after a purchase has been made? Right. So I think I didn't rephrase the question correctly. So what is the average number of days? Those orders that took 20 or more days, we want to find the average number of days it takes for those orders to be shipped. Right. Now that's where the analytical prowess comes in. We need to, first of all, define what an average is. What is an average? And average is equal to total value of or sum of numbers divided by the count of, let me just go, total count of the numbers, right? So you sum up the numbers, you divide it by the count of those numbers, and that will give you the average. Now go back to this table. This is the numbers that took 20 or more days to ship. I have filtered this here. So let me just copy this data out. Remember, I filtered it, so there are other data that is below 20. Control C for copy. Let's go into this sheet here and paste. So now this is the orders that took 20 or more days to ship. And you could send this spreadsheet to your line manager who asked. Now, the question is the average. And I've broken down average for you because you will get a lot of questions about average in analytics. Average, not even total. Total is next level of insight. The next level is average. It's very important. And I'll tell you that in the trainings in October. Total to sum or total value or sum of numbers. This case, it is all of these numbers in column E. So let us sum that, equals to sum all the numbers in column E. So 1,948 days divided by, let me do divided to teach you the total count of the numbers. So we're going to do a count. We're going to do a count of all of these numbers. Right? So that's 72. So we're going to divide it now, equal to this number divided by this number, press enter, 27 days. So the answer, it takes 27. So so now the story behind this is those orders that we have received complaints on that took 20 or more days for them to be shipped after they place an order with us. The average days it took for those orders to be delivered is 27 days. What does this imply to you? It means that the probability that the next order a customer places and falls into, if we experience a problem whereby it takes longer for that order to be delivered, we can estimate that it will take 27 days, at least 27 days for that order to be shipped. How does this now help your business? You could now look for suppliers, delivery companies, who in their advertisement or their policy can say if they have any problem, they will always try to deliver after they receive the parcel, maybe 15 days. So you see, knowing the average number of 27 will help you as an analyst to recommend to supplier, to companies who, if they have a problem, their delivery time will be lower than 27. You will pick those companies over a delivery company who is telling you that, oh, if they have a problem, it will take them 30 or 35 days to resolve it, right? I hope that gives you insight into analytics and into how you could use average to answer your question. Um, Efwa, thank you. Efwa is asking, is there an internship? Yes, I answered this question in the middle of the class. When you complete your 8 weeks training by December, you will take the next 4 weeks in January to go on an internship. That internship will cover you receiving these kinds of questions to your email to provide answers. Secondly, you will be given data sets to analyze, provide answers. Thirdly, the internship will also cover you working on different case studies to build your portfolio and put on your CV. So, for example, your CV will be you've worked on, you helped Virgo Limited to analyze supply challenges, thus improving customer satisfaction by 5 or 10%. Yes, you did that during your internship because you worked on this question, you extracted this data, you found the answer, you found the average, you recommended companies that will help them solve this problem, and you put that on your CV. So these are the advantage of you training with us and also going on an internship, because it consolidates all of the learnings that you have we have taught you during the 8 weeks, right? So that's the answer to your question, F1. Thank you. I have those are the 5 questions in SQL, right? So you by way of recap, select, right? What does that do? It helps you to fetch a column in a table. What does asterisk means? You want to see all of the columns. What is from? From is pointing to the table, right? And what is where? Where is used to filter the rows in a table. Nice. Thank you very much for all that. Yes, you'll have this sessions recorded and uploaded to YouTube, and you'll get the link after the class via email. Thank you. Thank you very much. So yeah, bring up your questions and put them in the chat box and let me answer all of them. Whilst you are doing that, let me just run through the participants. Thank you, Adiola, for joining. Amaka, Patrick, Kristen, Efwa, Evelyn, Ikichire, Awakaltu, Tosin, yeah, and myself, of course, for joining. Right. Okay, yes, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yes, that brings me to the next thing I wanted to say. We are gradually, I think, less than 22 days to the next October boot camp. And so the aim of all of this is to um give you an idea of what data analytics is about and also prepare your mind on what you will learn in the course of the training. The next week Saturday is going to be our fourth edition on this series. And I will be introducing you to Power BI. Power Business Intelligence is also another Microsoft tool for business analytics. So I'll show you how to use that, how easy it is to use Power BI, how you could also leverage or creating dashboards and also automating your task. Just an introductory class as well to give you an idea. That's what we'll cover next week, Saturday. So please, the link to that also will be will be shared with you via email. And as much as you have friends, you have WhatsApp groups or communities you are in, please, when you receive the links, please just post it as well. Let's help as much as of our brothers also transition into tech because a lot of people are interested or tired of their present job. They want to move to tech, but they don't know who will teach them. They don't know how to go about it. So this is an opportunity for free for them to come and see how this is a good fit for them and also take advantage of learning. And I'll give you my own personal story. When I started learning, I started learning Python, right? That was a mistake. That was a no-no. Nobody guided me on I started my journey learning Python. That was wrong. What you should start with is learn Excel because that is the front end that will make all of the process easier for you, right? A lot of people still make that mistake because they do not know. Because they do not know. Okay, and thank you everyone for for joining. And I am yeah, just to wait before I let you go, I have a question here, and the lady is asking wants to see the course modules that you will learn during the 8 weeks internship, right? So I'll just run you through what you are going to learn in this intensive 8 weeks training. So this is the curriculum. So your week one and week two in Excel will cover data preparation and cleaning, descriptive statistics, how to take a range of data and describe what you are seeing in that data, pivot table and pivot charts, and how to identify outliers. Then you also take a data set and analyze 50,000 rows of record in Excel. Then in SQL, which will be week three or week four, you get deeper into writing select statement for data retrieval. You will know how to filter, sort, and aggregate data. Now you'll cover join, subquery, and CTEs. And why that is very important is you see, these questions I've showed you today, I have always been referring to just one table. You will have a business question where you'll need to join one or two tables together and extract the rows to provide your answer. So how do you do that? You need to know how to use joins. That's like taking you to step two and step three in SQL. We'll cover that as well. Then Power BI for business dashboard. So you go into Power Query for automating data cleaning and preparation. You'll know about data model and relationships, the star schema, the snowflake schema, and the one-to-many and many-to-one relationships. Then how to design interactive dashboards for decision making, whereby now that will cover you're giving a business data, you design your dashboards and your reports, and you give that onto your line manager, and that he or she has to only just click on the certain sliders and filters, and all the reports will dynamically change as he filters with your report. You will learn how to do that in Power BI. Then how to also tell visual storytelling, and you create a dashboard, right? So that's Power BI as a role. Then week seven, week eight, exploratory data analysis to solve business problems. That entails you knowing how to dive deep to identify differences in data. So that will cover, for example, what is the percentage difference of the sales we had in 2024 above 2023, those kind of techniques. You will know how to use that to solve business problems. Comparing the tools, SQL, Power BI, and the business case studies, and also your capstone project preparation by the 8th week. You need to start getting ready on how to do all that. Then 4-week internship, I'll give you business data set. You will have to now leverage on your SQL, Excel, and Power BI in one workflow. And why that is good is because you will have the database installed on your laptop. You will have the data installed on your laptop. You will have Excel and Power BI installed on your laptop. So you have one workflow where you can do everything together. And that's what you will do when you get the job, because on your office computer, you have all of these tools installed. So during this internship, getting familiar with all of these tools will become second nature for you. Then develop board level presentation of insight and recommendations. This ties back to you having your personal email with the company during your training, because you will get emails from myself, from the training department, asking you for insights and recommendations. And then you have to respond, you have to reply, and you have to know, okay, I know my manager asked me for this question, right? I have done it in Excel. How do I present this? So you will know how to use PowerPoint and how to also recommend your data during the internship and get feedback and polish your portfolio ready. So this is what you go through the 8 weeks. You will graduate with a certificate in competency in Excel, Power BI, and SQL. You will have worked hands-on and custom preparation. You have a portfolio to show employers. You'll be mentored to support roles in data analyst, Power BI analyst, financial analyst, reporting analyst. All of this is dependent on you also putting in the hard work and committing to it and I know you can do it as well, because I was one time at this stage of my life in January of last year working 10 hours outdoors in very windy and gusty conditions, and I put in the hard work applying for jobs, practicing, taking assignments on my own without any formal guidance or mentorship. And the hard work paid off, and I landed a job as a senior analyst in the UK Debt and Revenue Service. So this is not a mirage. This is possible. You take advantage, you invest in yourself, and you also be one of the lucky and successful students who will get interviews and also land roles as data analyst or whatever analytical role you find yourself to get. I'll be bringing the class to a close, but I'll answer this last question that says, okay, yes, do I need to have a degree in maths or science before I can transition into tech? And the answer is no, you do not need. I myself did not study this in university or even undergraduate, right? Or any formal learning. It was just a simulated structured learning, knowing how to use the tools that relates to the field of analytics and knowing how to answer and extract insights from business data and continuous practice and practice and practice, and you get better and better, right? So you don't need a business degree. You don't need to be proficient in that math. All you need is to be able to know how to basic math. For example, how to identify differences between if one is small and if one is bigger, and also how to use these tools that we are showing you, and you see that there is similarity in every analytical field you find yourself in. Is the same similar questions they always ask, because as an analyst, your job is to answer two questions: what happened and why did it happen, right? So what happened will always be the same thing, and why did it happen will always be a similar frequent thing. So thank you. I've answered your question for there. And I will bring the class to a close. So you'll be getting a feedback email. You'll be getting the link also to register for the bootcamp. Take that advantage. Sign up for the October bootcamp before slots are filled up, and you'll be forced to go into the January time. And you see that might even delay your transition into tech. So take advantage of that. And I will leave the remaining 8 minutes to answer any questions that come up before we log off for today. and see you next week, Saturday, same time for the Power BI class. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.